largest high school football showcase here on the West Coast. Its purpose is to educate athletes, coaches, and the community regarding the needs of our military veterans. Since 2010, the Honor Bowl has played to over 70 schools and communities, and the Honor Group is proud to be at Oceanside High School this year for the first annual UT San Diego Honor Bowl. We talked about this in our last broadcast, but no better place. You're a football throw, a stone's throw, pardon the cliche, away from Camp Pendleton.
Well, it's been great to see the Marines. We've seen some of the Army and Navy out here today as well. And I know some people that drive by, they wonder what's going on. I think a few of those people actually came in to watch a little high school football.
This is returnable, and this is Lavin Alston. Reverses field and gets out of bounds on the near sideline at the 35-yard line.
You know, Steve, I always try to encourage people, and I know even if they don't have kids in high school, but come out on a Friday night, especially, you know, to a home game in your community, because it's a great community setting. You may see people you haven't seen in years and reminisce about old times or a certain ball game, you know, a decade or two ago. But, you know, a lot of times parents, after their kids are done high school, they never go to another high school football game. And really, it's a great community event.
Inexpensive. Everybody loves nachos.
They don't usually charge
Coke
for parking either.
That's right. You know, they don't have much of it here in Oceanside. Town under center. And he's going to hand it off, and this is Chambers. And Chambers gets dumped for a loss back at the 35-yard line. It looked like it was Junior Aguiano who had an interception last week.
It's a little bit of a slow developing play, and a slow developing play against either one of these defense, and they're probably not going to have much of a chance to do much damage tonight.
Town tries it again with Chambers. He goes right, much more elusive this time, and gains back the yardage he lost, then 4 more. That'll bring up a third down at about 6 now for St. Bonaventure.
Well, Steve, I really think it's going to come down to who can run the football most effectively. This is a very patient run. You'll see him cut back in, try to get whatever yards he could. Pretty good job of stringing it out defensively, though.
Town misfires for just the 3rd time of the ball game. Darius Vines, a sophomore, who had 1 catch for 12 yards last week, was the intended target there. In Town now 5 of 8 for 60 yards in this one.
Now Vines kind of got his footwork tangled up coming out of his break, and really was a little bit off balance when he turned around, and that ball went right through his hands.
So on comes the punting unit for St. Bonaventure. And back deep to receive this punt for Centennial, Chacho Uloa. He's the deep man. We've already seen him make a nice tackle. See what kind of a return he can get as Kelly gets off the punt. And that kid fighting his way out across the 36 to the 37-yard line, and that's where Centennial go back to work with their quarterback, Robert Weber, who's 9 of 12 for 105 yards in the game so far, Coach.
And boy, he's a pepper pot back there. He really is in complete control. I wrote at the top of my chart on Weber, captain. They've got a bunch of captains, but this guy's really the guy that's, I think, telling the first mate when to put the sail up and when to take that sail down. He's really in charge on the field. A very nice field general.
4th drive of the game for Centennial. They've missed a field goal. They've turned it over on downs. They had a 20-yard touchdown run by this man, Watson. He's explosive. He's down the sidelines, and he's gone. 63 yards for his 2nd score of the football game.
Now they list Trey Watson at 5'11", 195. He may be 5'11", but he runs like he's about a 220-pounder. I mean, he's flying down the sidelines. Look at the strength in his lower body as well as that upper body. You can tell he spends a lot of time in the weight room. Once he got by the line of scrimmage and made that cut to the sidelines, it was see you later time.
He'll be at Cal next season.
He may be playing a lot at Cal next season.
They've always had some terrific running backs. I think all the way back to the days of Russell White. Even before that, Joe Kapp, right? Kapp a running back or quarterback?
Quarterback.
But a running quarterback.
Let's not forget Chuck Muncie.
That's right, the former Charger. That extra point attempt is good there by Jake Perez. 13-7 as Centennial takes their first lead of the football game, and I think we're in for a shootout here tonight.
You brought up Russell White out of Crespi High School, right?
Yeah.
I remember interviewing him many, many years ago, and he wasn't playing. He was already at Cal, but I was doing the Shrine game, and Sharman Shaw, that later became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the running back.
Yeah.
He was playing in that game out of Dorsey High School, and I remember at halftime I interviewed two people. One of them was Russell White from Crespi, who was at Cal, and John Ralston, the former Stanford head coach.
Now, I'm not sure how many people would say Russell White was a great Cal running back. He was a great high school running back. Or those games, him and Crespi against Derek Brown at Servite, back and forth.
He may have gone to Cal maybe at the wrong time.
Well, he still had enough to make it into the NFL.
Right.
That would be the late 80s, early 90s.
I guess what I'm trying to say, if he had gone to one of the Southern California schools, he may have fared a little bit better.
Here's Alston. Alston out to midfield at the 41-yard line. Might have turned out like Marcus Allen, huh? Who was the guy that just went to Cal? Javon, or was it? There's a running back in the NFL out of Cal. Why can't I think of his name? A couple of years ago, he played in the holiday. Yeah, Javid Best. Javid Best?
Javid Best had to retire due to a concussion. Got released this year by the Detroit Lions.
Yikes. Part of that $756 million coming his way shortly.
Boy, he was tough, though.
He was.
He was a great, great college back.
So here's Town. Fourth drive of the football game for St. Bonaventure. This is Chambers, tough runner. And Chambers has yet another first down for the Seraphs. It's a good little team out of Ventura. Probably likely to face Oaks Christian in their league championship.
How about that? How about those two teams?
That's going to be awesome. There's Chambers. A run of a couple of yards.
Just kind of chipping away. And, of course, Town's got that great right arm. I know he's probably itching to, do something dynamic with it as well.
Each team has possessed the football 4 times here in the opening quarter. But it's Centennial with 2 touchdowns. And that, in fact, is the final play of the first quarter at the UT San Diego Honor Bowl, Oceanside High School, Northern San Diego, California. The 4th and final game of this Honor Bowl is living up to the hype and the expectation. 3 touchdowns already. Mr. Watson there has 2 of them. And it's 13-7 Centennial.
How often are you hungry but don't know where to go? Hi, I'm Brian Kushida. I'm the host of a new show called Let's Eat. No big chain restaurants here. I'm on a quest to find the most mouth-watering cuisine, taking you to the iconic and out-of-the-way eateries across Southern California. Check out this sandwich right here.
We're SoCal Mondays. Watch Let's Eat Mondays at 7 and 9:30 p.m. only on Time Warner Cable, SoCal 101.
Now I'm done talking. Let's eat.
There's the Centennial Husky cheerleaders making the short little ride down from Corona. And let's make the short little ride down to the sidelines. Courtney Sweet standing by. Courtney?
As you've already mentioned, the duo of Ricky Town and tight end Bryce Dixon tonight at 6'4", 230. Dixon is a mismatch for most defenders. And I love what our friend Eric Sondheimer says about him. He's taller, bigger, and faster than most of those trying to contain him. He's an offensive weapon waiting to be unleashed. Plus, guys, on a side note, he's been dunking a basketball since he's in 8th grade, so it's no wonder he's one of Town's favorite targets. Back to you guys.
And he just had a tremendous block right there that sprung Chambers forward. It looked like he was going to be dropped for a loss. The next thing you know, he runs for yet another first down for St. Bonaventure, who had 101 yards of total offense in that first quarter alone.
Roll up complete.
Town to Dixon, and the catch is made. He's going to be about 4 yards shy of the first down.
I mean, Dixon's a nightmare. Lining up at a tight end spot at 6'4", 225 pounds. I mean, he's just a mismatch. I mean, you put an outside linebacker on him, he's going to be faster. You put a safety or a corner, he's going to be a lot bigger and a lot more physical on him.
Chambers up the middle, another first down run for Chambers.
See, I think this is key right here because you take a look at St. Bonaventure's defense. Last couple of trips on the field, they've not fared all that well, and they were out there huffing and puffing. And I think by running the football and giving them a blow, it's really going to help. And I really think long-term, whoever can run the football more effectively throughout the course of the game is going to be the team that wins.
Town play action going for Dixon. Catch. Touchdown, St. Bonaventure.
Well, how are you going to defend that? I mean, here's the tight end. We just talked about going straight up the middle of the field. You throw the ball high, there's nobody going to go up there and be able to get it from him. I mean, that's just way too easy. I mean, Manu Nomura at 5'10", not going to compete with a 6'4" athlete at 225 pounds. Nomura only 165. I mean, there's just no way.
Jesse Kelly now for the lead.
The snap is down. The kick is on.
And Kelly puts it right through, and St. Bonaventure has their second lead of the game at 14-13. This might go a little like last night, Gardena, Sarah, and Oceanside, who combined for 88 total points.
I mean, realistically, Centennial's got a real issue there. I mean, obviously, St. Bonaventure's got their own set of issues defensively, but when you're talking about figuring out how you're going to stop one guy that's just physically a lot bigger and stronger than the guys that are going to guard him, I don't know what you do other than double team him and try to bracket him, you know, hit him every time he comes off the line of scrimmage. I mean, you got to try to slow that guy down. He's getting free releases off the line of scrimmage and doing whatever he wants. It's like Antonio Gates.
I'm just going to say the same thing. The minute you said bracketing, it brought up the name of a tight end here in San Diego, number 85, Antonio Bates. Gates, that is. And even with the, thinking of the Bates Motel. But
you
Antonio,
looking for Norman, too, or what?
That's right. You know, Antonio, even with the plantar fasciitis, makes play like that kid Dixon did.
I love it when the coaches come up and congratulate a player, and the player's about a head taller than the coach. That's always great, isn't it?
Yeah. It's funny, when you said the Bates Motel there and we talked about it, I was thinking of, I actually went to that game last year, that playoff game up at St. Bonaventure between Mater Dei in the fog, and that, what an experience that was. It was like driving toward the Bates Motel. I think I stayed in a place in Santa Barbara that was close to the Bates Motel, or its quality. That was over Thanksgiving weekend. I remember my wife thinking, you're crazy going down to a high school game. It's a lot of fun. It wasn't fun for St. Bonaventure fans. So Centennial going to be faced with a long field, but it really hasn't mattered much here for them, especially in the opening quarter, where they had just a shade over 200 yards of total offense led by Robert Weber.
You could put them on the goal line, and in about 3 plays, they could be inside their opponent's 20.
Weber was 21 of 38, 239 yards, and just 1 touchdown in the opener. Also ran for 61 yards and a score. There's Watson. Watson to the outside. Has already had 1 big touchdown run and gets caught from behind after gaining nearly 30 yards.
Oh, this is just a great effort. Now, this play was designed to run inside. You'll see Trey Watson trying to be patient, trying to look for a hole, gets hit initially, realizes, hey, there's no hole. I got to get what I can. He's able to get outside of containment and just make something out of nothing.
Weber to the air for Ware, and that is defended nicely and is incomplete. That was Devontae Nunnery, the senior, who was step for step with Ware, the intended receiver.
That's a great matchup. Nunnery, Division I prospect. We talked about Ware already going to UCLA. That's a matchup that, who knows, one play to the other could depend on who wins it. I mean, that's going to be a good competitive battle all night long.
You know, getting back to Watson, he reminds me a lot like Ray Bass. Remember how Ray Bass ran?
Yeah.
5, 6, maybe 7 years ago before going to Arizona State for Centennial. Watson forward to the 40-yard line and another big gain of 7 yards.
Well, think about a lot of these players that we've seen tonight in the UT Honor Bowl. They've been coached really well, and they've got very good instincts. Whether it's the quarterbacks being patient in the pocket, the running backs allowing their offensive line to work in front of them. You can see Watson's a little gassed, and I can understand why. He's had a couple of big runs here in the last few minutes. But he is an extremely patient runner. He's able to sit in that hole and kind of let things happen, and that's going to help him at the next level.
Weber swings it out quickly to Javon McKinley, and the 6'2 sophomore springs forward over the first down marker and is down awfully close to the red zone.
Well, these wide receivers, these big wide receivers and tight ends getting a lot of action. McKinley doing a great job, getting a great kick-out block from his offensive lineman Acosta, really hustling, making a good block.
And here's Watson again, looking for the end zone for the third time. Instead, he'll have to settle for a run down into the red zone at the 15-yard line. And Sid Acosta doing a nice job of that kick-out block. 6 foot, 260 pounds, a junior. They have a kid on the offensive line at guard on the other side who's going to Alabama as well. Vianney Talamaveo. Here's on a play-action fake and a throw, and oh, what a catch by Ware for a third touchdown of the ball game for Centennial.
And Nunnery was all over him. Just a great catch by Barry Ware. And when we see the replay, you're going to see something here that you don't see very often. Tremendous hand strength from a young high school football player. Look at that play. That is, you can't cover him better than Nunnery did. Look at that great strength in Barry Ware's hands. That's one of the best receivers, folks, in the United States of America this year in the senior class.
As if they worked on it every day during the summer, whether the coaches told them to or not. That was a tremendous catch.
That took a minute 22.
It's like arena ball. I mean, buckle up at home.
Basketball on grass.
And the extra point is through the uprights. And Centennial is back on top, 20-14. Another quick scoring drive. Doesn't matter if you pin them back there at the 20-yard line. They're still going to go 80 yards over 7 plays.
Good-looking young man, Barry Ware. He'll fit in well at Westwood. Well, Jim Moore, you talk about a guy that's taken the town by storm.
I know, he's more popular than Lane Kiffin.
A lot more, by the way.
Yes.
But, I mean, he came in last year, good effort. They had some blemishes and some bad losses last year, but considering where they were prior to that, the prior few years under Rick Neuheisel, I mean, they made some great strides last year, and it should only get better. I mean, when you take a look at his recruiting class last year and what he's already starting to get in verbal, he's really got the tide turned there in L.A.
Robert Weber with his second, making his first touchdown throw of the game, his second of the year. Again, despite them scoring 60 points last week, he only had 1 touchdown throw. This is returnable. This is Jonathan Burgum, and he got hit hard. Still hung on to the football, and what a shot right there by Stephon Hudgens, who's a junior defensive back, laying the boom.
This is why they want to cut down on collisions on kickoff. Look at that. Wow. How about that? That's a way to earn a little more playing time when you go down and deliver a blow like that.
That's right. So Ricky Town now will have to operate the offense from back at the 18-yard line. Already as we play here early in the second quarter, less than 3 minutes in, both teams have now possessed the football 5 times. The only turnover of the game was a fumble on the opening drive by St. Bonaventure, and this is Dixon. Not only is he tight end, but he lines up a lot as an H-back. And right there, they try and run with the football, and he gets about 3 yards.
I think that play right there, you may want to take the page in the playbook and move it a little bit deeper into the binder.
And number 54, Eric Pinion.
Second down and long. They only give Dixon credit for 1 yard. Just under 9 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
They just let Dixon run down the field. Nobody's guarded him yet tonight.
Dixon did fumble the football after a run on the opening drive.
That's their second timeout, by the way.
Yep, they'll have one left. They spend it here with 8:49 to go in the second quarter of play.
They burned that one late in the first period on one of Centennial's touchdown drives.
So as we talked about, they have a new coach over there, John Muller, in his first year as the athletic director. He used to coach over there at Villanova Prep and then was an assistant. Says, well, the year is over. They're going to wind up looking for another coach. I don't think he wants the job on a full-time basis.
He's already the athletic director.
He got busy. All right, so here's the Max Preps rankings in California as of September the 2nd. So that would have been right there, on Labor Day?
Yeah.
And Long Beach Poly, I believe they've already lost to football.
They got beat last night by Servite. Servite knocked them off.
You know what, though? They started horribly last year, remember, and wound up in a state championship game.
Oh, Long Beach
that really
Poly,
bad loss.
They get a lot of talent in and year out. The Jackrabbits have as fine athletes as there are in the state of California.
They were beaten by one of the LA section schools pretty handily. I think it was Narbonne who beat them badly last year, and they came back to play in that state championship game. And, of course, you saw it 5-7. These two teams here, St. Bonaventure's Bryce Dixon, the senior, with the catch. And another short little gain here. They're going to be looking at another third down and long.
You know, it's real fun to watch with Ricky Town, and I've seen him on tape. I've never seen him in person until tonight. But when he throws that ball, he really, it comes out of his hand really, really sharp. Not so much velocity-wise, but just got a really nice touch and a great delivery.
Needs to convert on third down with pressure coming, and Dixon tried to make a one-handed catch. Can't come up with it, and St. Bonaventure's going to have to punt.
Well, they tried to get the ball to Dixon on 3 consecutive plays. They did on that first play, on that little reverse, then 2 incomplete passes. Now they'll have to punt.
Punting number 21, Jesse Kelly.
Jesse Kelly on to punt. This will be just the second punt of the ball game here for St. Bonaventure. Fair catch signaled. And moving away from it was Chacho Uoloa. There's a penalty marker resting at the 37-yard line.
Yeah, it's going to be interfering with the man able to catch the ball.
Should wind up costing 5 yards here. And our official Mike Downing will explain here in a moment as he huddles up a couple of other officials on his team. It's John Muller looking right there to try and figure out what the infraction was.
It's definitely going to be, as we mentioned, the interference with the right to catch the football. The man that made contact was trying to avoid it, but he did, and it is what it is. It's a penalty.
Centennial coming back on the field for the 6th time. Still just a shade under 8 minutes to go. I mean, if you're St. Bonaventure, you can't afford to give Centennial the football 8 or 9 times in the first half of play. Mike Downing shortly with an explanation.
Whatever Coach Muller said to Mike Downing, he got a chuckle out of it.
Here comes the explanation.
During the kick, we've got kick-catch interference against the kicking team. That'll be a 15-yard penalty enforced from the end of the punt, so it'll be a first down for Rona.
So you give them the football for the 6th time and even better field position.
So you see right here.
It was Isaiah Taylor interfering with Uoloa. So
seeing that on the replay, that was kind of a little bit different than it looked live, didn't it?
Yep. Rather than having the ball at the 27, they now have it up at the 43-yard line, and here's Watson running straight ahead to the 49.
a play like that, it's 15 yards. See, I think that should be a 5-yard penalty, but if you intentionally blow up a guy that's calling for a fair catch, I think that ought to be a 15-yard, and depending on the situation, possibly an ejection.
Yeah, I agree. 15 yards right there seems a little too harsh.
Yeah.
Weber throws, and there's a catch being made there by Grayson Bankhead, a junior. He made 8 catches for 73 yards in their opening win over Liberty out of Henderson, Nevada.
It was really neat to seeing these guys catch the ball and not sitting around, patting themselves on the back. He drops the ball and is looking to line up for the next play.
Weber with a keep. Weber still on his feet and pulled down at the 17-yard line. Perhaps a touchdown-saving tackle by Steven Torres, the senior.
We talked about Weber earlier. I mean, everybody talks about his arm, but he can do some damage with his legs, and we've seen that already a couple of times tonight.
Yeah, they've had some great quarterbacks here. Taylor Martinez at Nebraska. Matt Scott, who went on to operate the offense at Arizona for a number of years.
I think we're going to have a receiver maybe moving a little bit early.
Mike Downing yet again.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. Still 1st and 15.
Take a look at this. Good job of hanging on to the football. Torres making a huge touchdown-saving tackle right there.
Weber last week ran for 61 yards and a score. 2nd down and 15 here from just outside of the red zone for Corona Centennial. Their 6th possession of the game. And the ball is loose and covered up by Centennial.
Yeah, I will tell you this. I think this UT Honor Bowl is something that could really grow in the future. And considering all the teams today are from the southern section, I would think a lot of coaches and players from San Diego would want to come out and see some of these top-notch teams, especially the coaches. Take a look at some of the best teams in the state and what you have to strive for.
Centennial has scored on their last 3 drives after futility in their first 2, which was a missed field goal and turning it over on downs. They give it to Watson, and Watson has found the end zone already twice here in the ball game, both on a run of 20 yards and 63 yards. And he lines up again right behind Weber to his left on a 3rd down and long.
Look at these line splits again. I mean, that's one-on-one blocking right now. That is tough to defense.
And Weber throws, catch made, touchdown. They've scored on their last 4 drives. Grayson Bankhead this time from Weber, and the 2nd touchdown throw of the football game for Weber.
And really, nobody knew exactly what they were doing defensively. Take a look at these offensive splits right now. That's one-on-one blocking. That's spreading out the defense. It's given a great visual look for your quarterback. There's nobody in his face whatsoever. He's just like he's playing catch out on the cement.
Still 6:07 to go here in the 2nd quarter of play. And that is Jake Perez again splitting the uprights. And St. Bonaventure has a lot of heavy lifting here to do. Another 6-play, 57-yard scoring drive. 27-14. I just don't know how you stop them. I mean, the first thing is you got to make some first downs on offense here and sustain some drives so they don't have 3 more possessions here in the half.
Like I said, you got to be able to run the football consistently and keep that offense off the field.
Well, don't miss Time Warner Cable's weekly roundup analysis show called Varsity Roundup. It's Wednesdays at 8 p.m. right here on SoCal 101 HD. This week, our panel will recap this weekend's UT San Diego Honor Bowl games, preview the big high school games in Week 2, and reveal the new LA Times Top 20 football rankings. That's Varsity Roundup with host Danny Page, Courtney Sweet, and LA Times columnist Eric Sondheimer. That's Wednesday night at 8. We're going to talk to Eric at halftime, who's to the left of me.
I hope Eric Sonheimer stayed hydrated today. He's been all over this place.
We helped him out. He had some pizza from the truck and some Gatorade. They take care.